All right, today this video finishes up 4.2, variable investigate. So you're going to go to code.org 4.2 and we're going to click on number 5. You guys should open up the worksheet that we started, variables investigate, and we got down to, and we're starting challenge 5. So it says, what new information is being stored in challenge 5? Well, if you guys will run this and type in your name, it's kind of the same app we did before, except now this time instead of having a username or a login and a password, it has just your name. You click login, and you'll notice Hi Coach Woods comes up. So what you guys need to understand is that in order for it to save my name or the user input's name, it needs a variable to save it. So that's what we're going to write in our answer there. So what new information is being stored? I'm not going to write it for you. I want you guys to listen to the video and be able to write this. Some kids have been getting on just looking at the answers that I put on the worksheet and trying to finish it that way. But that's not sufficient. You guys aren't going to learn anything if you do that. So what new information is being stored? Well, you guys can infer from that, but the variable is whatever the user's name is that gets put in here is being stored. So you guys need to write that in for number 5. Challenge 6, what is being stored in the variable name? It should say my name here, the variable my name. And so we'll click on number 6. What's being stored in the variable my name? Well, the variable my name, I can tell there's 5 variables here. Before there were only 4 on the last time we looked at this, but now this variable my name, you can see it's different from the other variables because it doesn't have any of the equal signs. It's not assigning anything to this. So what that typically means is the user is going to have to input something for this variable. And if you guys will look down here at the bottom, the my name is getting on event when the login button's clicked. It's going to assign my name to a string hi and then whatever the user input for their name. Okay? So to answer this question, what's being stored in the variable name? Hi, the string hi, comma, space, and then the user's name. And you guys can also look here. It says how does the get text block work? Well, the get text block works right here by going to get whatever this is right here. It goes and retrieves or goes and looks in whatever it tells you to look in. So it could be any one of these, but for this time it's name input. So it's going to look or retrieve the text that is in the name input, which is right here. Okay, and I'm hovering my mouse over it, and you guys can see the ID is name input. So you guys can write in your own words that it goes and retrieves or goes and looks in or goes and gets the text from the input. Okay. Once you guys have completed those questions, we need to look at this code just a little bit more. A lot of it's very similar. Remember these right here, this set text for temperature F and temperature C. Basically, it's when I run it and log in, it automatically shows me a number. If I didn't have these here, it wouldn't start off showing me a number. Okay, it would wait until I hit a button and then it would display the number. Okay, but that's what those do. Remember, the gray ones are the comments. That doesn't actually run in your code. It's just for you to see. It starts with backslash. Down button, we've already kind of looked at it. Remember these orange and purple ones, these are just changing the variables, doing the math basically. It won't show it unless you have these set text to display the temperature for F and set the text to display the temperature for the Celsius. It's the same thing except going up, and this is the one we're basically going to use today. The login button's clicked. This right here, when you put a string and something else next to each other, guys, it's called concatenation. Okay? And I'm going to show you guys the very next part of this ask using concatenation. add an exclamation point to the end of the string stored in the username. So basically, it wants you to run this program, and it wants you to put your name in, click login, and it should say hi, comma, space, Coach Woods with an exclamation mark right here at the end. I want you guys to I want you to pause the video and see if you guys can figure out how to do that yourself. Take about 2 or 3 minutes just to see if you can do it yourself. Hopefully you paused the video and hopefully you tried it. You learn more by just trying, even if you fail. But if you just watch me and do whatever I do the whole time, you're not going to learn very much. What you need here, you've got one concatenation. You need one more concatenation at the end of this, right behind it. And the way you do that is you go to the math drawer, find the plus sign. And for this, you don't want to put it inside the get name input because that's still getting something. We want to put it right inside here. We're going to have to move these around a little bit. So now I have 3 things I'm adding. And in the second one, I want the get text. The first one I have to retype. So it says hi, comma, space. Make sure you open and close your quotes. So it says hi, comma, and then whatever the name is. Now I've got another plus, another concatenation with something empty out here that I can add another string, and I add it just like this. Okay. Once you do that, I want you to reset and run and see if you can have this right here. Once you do that, open your snipping tool and snip this part and add it right here. Hopefully you guys actually tried on this one and not just watch my video. You won't be learning very much that way. One thing you need to get from this is concatenation. Okay? You're just basically adding things together, not putting them in one thing, but you're putting them side by side. So I'm putting hi, comma, and a space right next to the name, whatever the user put, right next to an exclamation mark. Okay, and you guys noticed how we put in a space here to actually give a space between hi, comma, and this. Didn't need a space between their name and the exclamation mark. Okay. Concatenation is a funny name for just putting things next to each other. It's typically strings you'll concatenate with. You can make sentences. So we're going to define a variable. A variable is something that can store a value. Okay, so if you guys were to look at this app, what value is being stored here? Well, a string. It's a name. Whatever the person puts in is going to get stored because you have to store it. And when I click this button, it has to be stored in order to take me to this screen and open. Okay? Can't just remember that without storing it. It's got to be able to store it. And if you guys remember from 4.1 with the Ziploc bags and the sticky notes, only one value, so you need to write that in. Only one value can be stored at a time in a variable. Okay? So you should write those 2 things in there. You guys should just have a pretty good foundation of how variables work. Your last one is going to be, why is using a meaningful name for the variable important? Well, I had plenty of kids who, on their final app, did not take my advice and did not name their IDs or name their elements. So if this were an element like the button, the login button, you see that they didn't just leave it button 1 or whatever. They actually changed the name to login button. So that way when they go over here to code, they can say when the login button's clicked, not when button 1's clicked, because I had people who had multiple elements on a screen, multiple buttons on a screen, and their code wasn't working, and it's because they didn't stay organized, so their code was unorganized and did not work. Which is the answer to this question. Why is it meaningful name for a variable important? Well, it's important because the coder has to stay organized while coding. It helps them stay organized. So you guys need to write that. And that's basically it. So once you guys have finished this, make sure you turn it in for your points, and we're going to do something kind of individual for the next 2 days.